NASCAR's throwing it back at Darlington Raceway, the track too tough to tame. Wait, if they're throwing it back, I need a throwback. All right, that's better. Let's get it started. Welcome back, everybody, to ZB's Horsepower Talk. As always, I'm ZB, Zack Brown. Dad's not joining me this week as scheduling conflicts have occurred, and it's been craziness since vacation has ended, but we appreciate everybody tuning in to the TikToks and all the things that we put on social media. Make sure you keep following that on TikTok, Facebook, and anywhere else on YouTube for the full episodes and everything like that. NASCAR's throwing it back. And I'm throwing it back a little bit in the 90s, I guess. That's kind of the outfit I got. So, let's get into talking about everything we saw at Las Vegas and a little bit of touch on IndyCar and sprint car racing. Let's get into Darlington Raceway. It's been proven that this new generation of NASCAR has done well on the mile and a half, and it proved once again. Las Vegas is a great track. It wears enough on the tires that you have to have a strategy involved with it, and you can't just run as hard as you can. You have to learn how to take care of your tires. And why did I even think of not picking this guy? I mean, I know Larson has had very good success at Las Vegas and Hendrick Motorsports as a whole, but Denny Hamlin has been the best at conserving his equipment, conserving his tires, and being there at when it counts. And he honestly dominated the race. The Toyotas were so fast; they were leaps and bounds above everybody else. The other ones close. I mean, at the end, Hendrick was closing in, but throughout the race as a whole, Toyota had everyone beat. I think the Chevys are starting to learn more and more as they keep progressing through the season of this new body style that they have, which I know they are. I think last Wednesday, I believe, they did a little behind the scenes with some of the manufacturers in Las Vegas, and the manufacturers were talking to the teams about what is about to be unveiled for 2027 was being developed by Chevrolet. So the new body type, I'm assuming it's coming back. I don't really know. There's speculation they might bring the Monte Carlo back. Possibly the Impala's coming back. Some sort of sedan's going to come back, but it looks like that will be incorporated with NASCAR. I don't even know why they got rid of the Camaro. The Camaros, I love the Camaros. They brought them back and made it a big deal. But honestly, there's in the history since he's been racing the last couple of decades, no one's really liked Denny Hamlin. But this goes to show you how much of the sport is family oriented, and there are actually humans that want to see other humans do well. Denny Hamlin had a lot of stuff happen this offseason. Everybody knows about that with his dad passing, and the lawsuit was a lot on him too. And of course, his mom was in the hospital. His mom was actually there at the track seeing him win, so that was really emotional to see. But the fans cheered, and they did that last year. They understand what Denny is going through and has gone through, and he was the most humble I've ever seen him. And it comes to the point you also have to accept greatness. And honestly, and I said this last year, I wouldn't mind seeing Denny get a championship before he retires. If there's anybody that is deserving of one, it would be him. And if they had this format for years, he probably would be a 1 or 2 time champion by now. So we'll see how this new format and points benefits him this year. I thought Larson was going to be able to get it, but started fading towards the end. And then Chase Elliott was closing in on Denny, and I think if there were a few more laps, Chase Elliott had a potential chance to win that. William Byron was up there too. It was a good race. I think Las Vegas has proven that it produces really good races, and I would not mind seeing it be a finale race. I've been saying that it's the entertainment capital of the world. And you have Formula One in the street that races there. It succeeds very well. And you're about to get an NBA franchise. You have an NFL franchise, WNBA franchise. Las Vegas has really grown in the sports world. And if you add a NASCAR championship to that, I think that would be smart on the city's part, NASCAR's part, and everyone involved. Sticking to Las Vegas, we have to obviously address uh, Xfinity, and then we're going to talk about the dirt racing that happened right across the street from the big track. Uh, Kyle Larson, I guess no one's shock, wins the Xfinity race at Las Vegas, but he did not have the fastest car. They kept working on it, kept working on the car. Larson drove really, really, really smart and really hard at the end and was able to just drive away. And the crew put them in position to be out in front, and he took advantage of it. And he took advantage of the restart where he just drove on right around everybody, had a great run, and that was really all she wrote. It helped that a couple cars didn't pit, and the old tires there killed. And I think this strategy is going to play into Darlington when we talk about that here in a second. And then Larson, right after that, we're going to jump right into dirt racing after that. Larson gets out of the car. He didn't really expect to win, so he has to do all these interviews as contracts with NASCAR show that if you win, you have to do all these interviews and all that fun media stuff. So he gets through all that. He has to book it to the truck, and he gets changed real quick, gets a different fire suit on, heads over to the dirt track. And it looks like the only thing he missed was heating the engine. Luckily, I think it was Tanner Thorson was able to get some heat in the tires. I mean, it probably wasn't that hard to find some short driver in those pits to fit in his car and at least get the car started and get some heat in the engine. Larson had a solid weekend at Las Vegas. I think it was the second race. The first lap, Corey Day gets under him, and it was no fault of Corey Day. Corey Day slides up in front. Larson gets a little loose, spins all the way around, and goes again. And it might have been the last race. But Larson just had no luck on the last day, and Corey Day had a great weekend as well. But Aaron Reitzel, the race that put him into the hospital last year, comes back for redemption and wins at Las Vegas to open up the high limit series. I think it's going to be a great year for high limit. If that is any indication, I think just sprint car racing as a whole has been incredible. Obviously, thoughts and prayers to the families that have been affected in the World of Outlaw world with the emergency crews. One was a fatal incident, and the other was injured significantly while they were getting, I guess, under pace laps for, I believe it was a last chance qualifier. And just tragic incident. And it's freak accidents like that. It's crazy. You see all this stuff about sprint car racing over the history, and it's freak accidents that you see over and over again. It just doesn't happen. So thoughts and prayers to the family there, and hope they find a better safety protocol. I think it was the side-by-sides, if I'm not mistaken, but if you see any of the ATV guys at World of Outlaws or even High Limits, I mean, yeah, they're just some backwoods guys usually, and they ride the four-wheeler. And World of Outlaws, there's definitely a lot more protocols and safety procedures you have to go through than just a normal, just local track. But there's a lot of chaos that's involved in sprint car racing, and I mean, clearly there's a miscommunication somewhere. Somebody wasn't paying attention. I don't know all the details, and it's not my place to assume, but I've seen it firsthand where people get a little crazy in the push trucks, the ATVs, the side by sides. They get a little, even those little electric scooters you see them running on, they get a little crazy. It's a little wild. But again, thoughts and prayers to them. Outlaws continuing to produce really well, really high level racing. David Gravel gets his first win. Had a classic finish. Photo finish, last lap pass. And while we're away, Donnie Schatz gets a win at Talladega Short Track. So that was good to see Donnie Schatz get back into the win column. And David Gravel gets his first win of the year. He's gotten second a few times. So good to see him in victory lane if you're a David Gravel fan. And I think it's going to be a tighter race this year than you've seen in years past for championship. It's good racing. Before we get into Darlington, the main part of this, IndyCar. Touch on that. So, Alex Palou did not win. Got second. And I mean, Alex Palou is going to win the championship. That's just what's going to happen. He's got such a knack for the sport, and wherever they go. And Kyle Kirkwood, awesome performance by him. He's been proving that he's improving week in and week out. We're getting close to the Indy 500. It's getting close to having to predict all that. And everyone wants to put on Alex Palou, but Indy produces a little bit of Cinderellas every now and then. And I think you might see someone you never really thought about win that race, but we'll get into that. But that was the first time they were in Arlington. So let me know your thoughts on what you saw with the IndyCar race. I wasn't able to catch a lot of the IndyCar race at Arlington. So drop in the comments what you thought about it and if they should go back there. I think that was the first time they've ever been there. So let us know. Finally, let's get into Darlington. The Lady in Black, the track too tough to tame. This is the track. During COVID, they finally brought back in-car racing. They went away from the iRacing broadcast to finally accept, and that was one of the states that the regulations were lifted a lot more, and were able to bring NASCAR back, and that kind of propelled all the sports to really come back. So Darlington's obviously a great racetrack. They have not paved it or even repaired too much of it over the last decade or so. Track will wear out. It's fantastic racing. I've been there, and it's awesome. You definitely get that throwback feel, even if it's not throwback weekend. You get that feeling like this is where the legends raced. My grandpa had a car here back in the 50s or 60s with John Mackison Sr. They raced down here for a race. And it just has so much history at this track. And excited to see all the paint schemes that are going to be unveiled throughout the week. Carson Hocevar already's got the cake on it. He's got a Dale Earnhardt throwback. Obviously, he's a huge Dale Earnhardt fan, so that's really cool to see the Wrangler paint scheme come back. Obviously, can't be Wrangler. I mean, not quite as cool as when Junior raced the Wrangler 3 at Daytona, but still, it's a pretty cool throwback. There's some other throwbacks. There's some Greg Biffle throwbacks for RFK, which I fully expect. I think that's awesome to see. But these types of tracks, and it's usually Southern 500, but don't really count out the 400-mile race here. This is a track where you've seen people you never think about winning get a win. So like Eric Jones a few years ago, he's gotten a couple wins here, or a couple really good finishes here. Brad Keselowski was able to win this race last year. Or did he win the Southern 500? He's won this track before. Let's just say that. I think what we saw at Las Vegas, a lot of it's going to translate into Darlington, where I think it's Chevy versus Toyota overall. Toyotas have just been so good this year. Conspiracies again with the whole lawsuit and everything. But I really think it's going to be Hendrick versus Gibbs overall. And I think it's going to be a great race. I love Throwback weekend. Ryan Lane doesn't have to do anything Throwback. He's already got the stash going, so he's going to be solid with that. And Dad sent me his lineup, so we're going to get into our NASCAR fantasy here in 1 second. But I haven't even seen Dad's lineup. But if you followed, I won NASCAR fantasy by 1 point last week. And I'm 16 points behind Mom. And we're the only two that are in the thousands right now in the league. It would have done better if Larson finished a little bit higher. Reddick fell out of the top 10. That hurt a little bit. But I'm going to add this couple things to it. This gets a little fancy when you do this whole program and stuff. And it's not the easiest doing it when I don't have my partner in crime with me right now. But here's NASCAR fantasy lineups heading into Darlington Throwback weekend. Here's Dad's lineup. So his lineup's similar to me. He's got Christopher Bell, Tyler Reddick, Kyle Larson, William Byron, Joey Logano, and in his garage he has Chase Briscoe. Briscoe really showed some good speed at the end of that race. He just had too many errors to start off with it to really recover. The match of Denny Hamlin versus William Byron, he's going with the hottest driver right now, Denny Hamlin. Chase Elliott versus Christopher Bell, he's got Christopher Bell. Ross Chastain versus Daniel Suarez, I think that was a matchup last week. He's got Ross Chastain. And Brad Keselowski versus Ty Gibbs, he's got Ty Gibbs. So our matchups are identical. Ty Gibbs has been really impressive. How do I turn this off? Dad's pick to win this week at Darlington is Tyler Reddick. So he's got him to win his 4th race already in this season. Here's my lineup heading into Darlington. I've got very similar lineup to Dad and very similar lineup to last week. Kyle Larson, William Byron, Christopher Bell, Chase Briscoe, Denny Hamlin, and in my garage I have Eric Jones. Telling you, Eric Jones on a Toyota and a track he's got a lot of confidence in. That's a solid pick to have there. So something happens to one of these drivers up front, don't hesitate to put Eric Jones in your lineup, I'm telling you. And like I said, all of our matchups are saying Hamlin, Bell, Chastain, and Gibbs. I think those are really safe bets to make there. And my pick to win Darlington Throwback weekend, he showed a lot of speed. He hit the pole last week. I think he will look really good at Darlington. I've got Christopher Bell to continue Toyota's dominance of this year and to win Darlington Throwback weekend. Or that does it for this weekend, guys. I was debating which kind of throwback I wanted to do, but this is the throwback I kind of went for. So, yeah. I mean, I was also going to put this hat on. The old Dale Earnhardt Jr. hat. I was gonna actually wear Dale Earnhardt Jr. with the skull gloves. I didn't know what I wanted, but I was born in the '90s. I was going a little '90s throwback. So you can go ahead, hash it out in the comments. Throw what you got at me. Say what you will. This is a Chemical Guys hat, by the way, but it actually worked pretty well as a sideways hat. I never wear sideways hats. So we'll see you guys next week. We will see baseball season starting with my son, so it gets a little hectic trying to work out a schedule to get everybody on at the same time. But we'll try to get back to normal. But again, every Friday, make sure you keep tuning in. Again, last week was a little different. We were on vacation, but Dad should be back next week as long as we get the scheduling worked out. Like I said, it gets hectic when baseball season happens. So we'll see you guys then. Appreciate everybody. Make sure you like, follow, subscribe, all that fun stuff. Later.